I'm Kara, and welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. I believe that all of us possess unique gifts and talents that allow us to serve the world and our own growth in the highest possible way. Our lives are an expression of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And here, we will explore businesses, thought leaders, and topics designed to inspire, helping propel your own growth so you can live your best and most purposeful life. Welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. Welcome back to the Soul Inspiring Business podcast. It's your host, Kara Chafin-Donofrio. I am thrilled that you have found us today. So whether you're here for the first time or whether you are a longtime listener, thank you so much for being here. So today's episode is about our energy. We talk about it a lot on the show. But today I'm going to share some ways of viewing this, actually some from the work of my business coach and friend, Jen Cudmore. But really, I do believe it stems from the core belief that energy is really everything. It has the power to transform, it has the power to destroy, and how we show up in the world, how we are showing up with our energy, the energy that we are bringing to our work, I believe will either magnetize that work or it will nullify the work that you're doing. And so I think it's in a world where AI is the norm, where there is so much that's generated by artificial intelligence, by computers, and really almost a lack of soul, I would say. It almost makes the energy of what we do and actually bringing the soul into our work, it highlights it. It makes it even more important, I believe. And so, again, I think that there's this idea that in our business, the energy that you bring to something, to your work, to your team, it has the power to uplift and can completely up-level what you're doing. But it also has this ability to really spiral downward and really completely nullify any results that you're having if you and your team are showing up in the wrong energy. And so the key is what do we do with this knowledge, right? Knowing this. And so I'll share today some interesting ideas, as I mentioned, from Jen Cudmore and how to view this, and also some ways to structure your day so that you are set up for success and can really make the most of all the work that you're doing to magnetize, to really create momentum in your work that will continue to build and work for you. Because in all of this, I believe that there is a way to do our business. There is a way to show up where things can come and flow easily to you, where you may be doing the right aligned strategies for you. You're still doing the work, but you have other pieces at play because you are a magnet for the things that you are in energetic alignment to. And so when you can tap into this frequency of a higher level vibrational frequency in your business and really in your life, you have the power to attract or manifest things to you in a much easier way. I think the other interesting thing about what we're experiencing in the world is there is a great power to manifest, and we've got a great show. It's one of the first shows that we did. It's, I think, our most listened to show about manifesting what you want. I should probably do a part 2 to that because my beliefs have shifted through the years. But I think that that's a great start in understanding our power to manifest things into being. But I think our power is even getting greater, the ability to think and have something show up for you immediately is there for you. But again, I think it comes when we understand how this energy works and kind of a very simple way of doing our business, yet really profound. So I guess the first piece to this, I mentioned Jen Cudmore. I mentioned her work. If you don't know who she is, she's a friend of mine. We've had her on the show, and she actually has a show on branding archetypes. So, understanding your brand and who you are naturally in the world, and then how to incorporate that into your business. But we've been talking over the past several months about this idea of it's a really simplistic way of doing business. It's both simple and hard, right? As most simple, easy things are, they can be simple to do, but sometimes hard to follow and live out. And that is this idea that the money and the work you do in the world are almost two separate entities. I know that sounds somewhat counterintuitive. And I will say, I think when Jen and I were first talking about it, I didn't fully understand it. But here's how I think we look at these two things, right? So the one is you get into an alignment and a clarity and understanding of the money goal, of the money that you want to attract into your life, of the money that you want and need for your business, for your life, and you choose that goal. And this idea that actually the business doesn't make the money, which seems counterintuitive, right? But this idea that you choose the money goal, that's number one. And then separately, you show up in your business to make a difference and make an impact. So the idea again there is that you're showing up to create impact in the lives of others through your business. That is the goal of the business. How do you consistently reach more people? How do you consistently serve more people and focus on that, on the service piece of it? Because it'll naturally, by the law of numbers, right? The more people you reach, the more impact you have, the greater the return of abundance and opportunities and money that will come back to you. But you're not doing the business from the energy of having to make money. You're doing from the business from the energetic level, from the intention, because I think intention of how we create is everything as well. You're showing up in the business to make a significant impact in the world, to show up for the people that you serve, to be all in on how you can help them in the highest possible way. And then, separately, your mindset work is choosing the energetic frequency, the money that you want to make. So they're two separate entities. I think where sometimes these get tied together and where this can get messy is when, have you ever been in a situation where somebody is trying to sell you something and it feels like they're selling it not because of it being in your best interest, but they're selling it to you because they need the money, right? This happens a lot in my industry in real estate. There are, especially now, there's a lot of agents that are not really very successful in their business. The impact to the real estate market, inventory has been down. And so, there could be the potential for a real estate salesperson or agent to force something into being. It could be tempting to do that because they need the money. They need the sale to happen because they need to eat. But that's not the right intention to come from, right? We should be doing the business, doing the work because we know it's in the best interest and aligned interest for our clients. How do we serve them in the highest possible way? And whether it's that deal or whether it's another one or another opportunity or money shows up from somewhere else, as long as you're choosing the money separately, it comes through it could come through in a host of different ways. So this is this sort of, I would call it in some ways, groundbreaking idea or way of looking at things as very separate, but when lived and experienced can be super profound. And I'm speaking from personal experience. And so I'll go into my own process for kind of how to live this out, because I think there could be the potential for some of you listeners that are saying, well, that doesn't, how is that possible, right? How is it possible? Of course, the money has to make business. And so you're telling me that the money's not making the business? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you're business should be solely focused on how do I maximize my impact and how do I make a difference in the lives of the people that I serve? And separately, how do I bring in and attract in incredible abundance and wealth and money? And yes, by the way, the money goal that I'm working towards. So I think there's kind of two pieces to this. There is how do I get the clarity of what I need and want and the goal piece, which is kind of a separate thing for now. What I want to focus on is how do I work in the mindset piece of getting into that, choosing the money goal. And what's the mindset work that goes along with that every day? So if you can start your day and say, okay, well, in the morning, that's when I'm going to choose into the mindset work. That's when I'm going to choose into the money goal to get crystal clear on what it is that I'm wanting to manifest and attract into being. What do I want to create? And what is it that I'm attracting into being? How do I get into that energetic frequency of the money? That's the work that the money, and by the way, the opportunities and the abundance, right? So, how do I choose into that every morning? And then after that work is done, I know it's on its way. So then let me focus on the second piece, which is serving the clients, making a difference. And again, I want to emphasize I give so much of this credit to Jen because she's really the one that introduced me to me. I'll be tagging her in this. And I'll give you some of the practical ways right now that I really choose into the money goals every morning. And there's 3 different ways I think that I've found helpful. Of course, you can find your own, but these are the 3 that have been the most powerful for me. So number 1 is movement. Energy loves to be in motion, right? And so I think there's really power in, I call them manifesting walks, but really it's just going on a walk, getting outside. I believe getting outside in nature, if it's possible, time of year, of course, plays a role here. But being outside in nature, going on a walk, and really taking in what it is you're trying to create. There is a great app. I've mentioned it before, but I use it a lot. It's called Think Up, and it actually allows you to record affirmations in your own voice. So, a lot of times, if I'm trying to shift my energy or I want to really get into the space of what are the things that I'm creating, what's the money that I'm creating, what does the team look like that I want to build, how does the business grow, what are the things that I'm really focused on manifesting into being. So I have those recorded, and then I'll just play that on repeat as I go on a walk in nature. It's really that simple. And it's simple, but it's also profound. And I can tell you when I am really committed to those walks, I've seen just crazy things start to show up and manifest. It's pretty remarkable how it works when we can commit to just a simple practice like that. And the other idea that I have when you're going on these manifesting walks is sometimes I would encourage you to not necessarily always, even if you love the podcast, and I love our listeners for listening with us and tuning in. But, it's also a time you can listen to something like this, but sometimes it's powerful just to walk in silence because we are all day bombarded with other people's voices. So that's why I think sometimes having this manifesting walk for just you, for whether it's the Think Up app, which is in your own voice. So I think that is actually tapping into your own energetic frequency and helping, but also just the being able to go on the walk in silence and really going into nature and in tune with yourself. It's really a tapping into you and what you're creating consciously. And sometimes that can be, let's just say there's been a question or something that you have on your mind, setting an intention going into that walk. What is the money goal I'm trying to create if you don't know what that looks like? What is it that I want to create for my team? How do I want these things to unfold and look? So, what do I want the money to do for me, right? Because money is just money? What is it actually? What do you need it for? Do you want to buy another investment property? Do you want to send your kids to school, to a college or a private school? What are the ways that you want to use the money? So getting really clear on those types of things so that you can, again, really tap into and choose what you want to create in your life. Because so much of what we are creating is unconscious. So how much more powerful could we be if we were to consciously create and be part of that process? And so I think, number one, having these manifesting walks can be super powerful. It doesn't have to be long. It can be 15, 20 minutes. It could be 30 minutes to an hour. But whatever you have the time for, the movement in it, combined with you getting into an alignment and conscious understanding for the things that you want to create, is super impactful. So the second idea that I have for you, and again, this is something that I use regularly, is meditation. And there's a grounding meditation that I recorded just a few episodes ago that you can go back to and listen to. That's one way of getting into this kind of space where you're consciously choosing the things that you want. And the idea behind it is really meant to connect you to, you're already connected to God, but how do we more consciously create to that energy? And then also, how do we consciously get grounded into the physical space, into the physical world that we live, so that we can be more conscious and in tune with our own intuition? Asking questions when you're in that state. If you don't know what it is, again, that you want to create, ask the question when you're in this connected space. And again, really just choose into what it is that you want to create. So have that meditative time, and then really just visualize the things that you want to create or happen for you. Consciously think about the money that is coming in to you from both expected and unexpected sources. Then the third piece is journaling. And whether it's writing out, I think there's really power in writing out what you're trying to create. I do it daily. And there is just power in writing it and feeling the feelings while you're writing it. It's not just enough to just blindly write things, down on a piece of paper, but as you're writing it, feel into all of those pieces of creation of what you're consciously creating coming towards you. And there's real power in that. So number one, manifesting walks. Number two, having a meditation practice. Or number three, journaling and tuning into that intuitive part of you. And again, I just believe that as we move into a world which is increasingly filled with AI, the ability to come back to soul is even more important. And I think that the people that are doing this work are just going to have a more profound difference in the world. It's a different level of working, and I think it's a more fulfilling one, just for me personally, but from, talking to others that I'm aligned with, when they're in this work, when you can do business in this way, it doesn't have to feel as hard, doesn't have to feel as tough. And I'll give you kind of an interesting thing. One of the other things I think about manifesting things into being is recognizing when it's come into being. So I'll give you a super simple example of something recently that I manifested. And I thought, oh my goodness, I have to be a little bit more clear on what it is that I want to manifest. So it was funny. I had just said to my husband, we've got to get these, tires done, because our car needs 3 more tires. And we had one done because it had a nail in it, and we have to get 3 more. And the next day, literally the next day, we go over to our friend's house, and sitting in their front yard are 3 tires. And they said, oh my gosh, we've got to give away these 3 tires. They're driving us nuts. They're brand new and they don't fit our cars. And, we've got to give them away. So recognizing how quickly that manifesting came into being. Now, it turns out that, and another lesson is to be clear on what exactly the clarity and specificity of what you want to create is really important, because it turns out that those tires were not the right size for our car. Our friends thought they were a different size, and so we thought they would work, but it turns out to not to work. So I think it's just important to recognize when these things that you're trying to create show up, recognizing when they do, and also being maybe more specific. I should have been more specific about the size tire that I needed, right? So I'm going to work on that. But really, the point being is that we are immensely powerful. And we have, as human beings, this incredible power to create. We were born to create. And, how can we even play with this a little bit on, what it is that we want to create, whether it's simple little things, whether we want to receive a sign that we're on the right track. How do we learn to ask for these things? How do we play with the energy of the world in which we live? I was with a friend the other day, and she was telling us about how she was deciding on a house. She was deciding whether she wanted to move forward on an offer on a house. And she was saying that she just couldn't figure it out. And so she just asked. She said, you know what? If I'm supposed to buy this house, send me a sign. And she picked something she was supposed to see if it was a yes. And if I'm not supposed to buy the house, then send me a giraffe. Okay. Giraffe's kind of crazy. It's not something you see every day. Well, just later that afternoon, she was cleaning her car, and underneath her car, which she hadn't seen, and she still doesn't even know where this mug came from, but there was apparently a mug that had a giraffe on it. I mean, so crazy, but that is how this stuff works. We can literally ask and we can play. And I think when we get more creative and we learn how to take ourselves less seriously and learn how to play with how this works and how things can show up, life gets really fun. So we've been talking a lot about choosing the money goal, choosing what you want and what you're creating. The second piece to it, which I could probably do a whole other show on, and I will, is really about showing up to make a difference and make an impact. That is the core piece of the business. And so I'll just leave you with 3 questions to begin the day. Once you've done the mindset work, once you've chosen what you want to create and you're showing up into the business, here are 3 easy questions to start your day and choosing into the work that's going to make the difference, that's going to make a difference for your team, for your clients, and for the world. And the 3 questions are, number 1, what are the key items that I need to get done to move the business forward towards growth? Number 2, what needs my attention the most today? And 3, where can I make the greatest impact in my business, in my clients, in my team, and the world? So these 3 questions can help you get focused and started on, now that I've done the money goals, the work, and I know and trust that those things are on their way to me, how do I show up in the work in a way that's going to make the biggest difference? And this is where you can also learn to trust the guidance that you receive. Sometimes it's, oh, well, I know I need to call this person. I need to connect with that person. I need to do this in the business today. And you do the work, but you do the work in an inspired way because you're in an alignment. You're in alignment. You have chosen the money goal, and you are doing the work where opportunities will start to unfold for you magically, because you just are this incredible, manifesting, powerful creator. So I hope that's helpful today. I hope it gives you a kickstart into your business and all that you're creating. Reach out if you have any questions at all. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out via Instagram. My handle is at Cara Chafin Donofrio. DM me there. I'm also on Facebook. And have a blessed and amazing week. Until next time. Loved being here with you today and would love to connect with you more over on Instagram. My handle is linked to the show notes, or you can just type in at Cara Chafin Donofrio. And I have something special for you as a free gift, my Dynamic Life Journal. This special book has the power to really help you live a soul-inspired life. Go to freegiftfromcara.com. Easy to remember, freegiftfromcara.com. Until next time, beautiful people, Sending all my love.